welcome to the Brad Chandler Show. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Brad Chandler Show, where we will have live interviews like this. Also, find me on YouTube searching for Brad Chandler Show. With me today, I have vocalist Mike Randazes of the band Our Own Destruction from Connecticut. Please enjoy the show. What's going on, dudes? Long time no talk.
Absolutely, it's been a while.
I am doing good. With me today, everybody, I have Mike, and you can tell me how much I butchered your last name, Randazes. Randazzi.
For over a decade, you know, it's cool.
Yeah, so let's just jump right in, man. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been a friend of yours for shit. We've known each other since probably about 2004. Yeah. So we're going on almost 20 years. We're about 17 years now. Holy shit.
Yep. And let's put it this way. My daughter was born in 2005. She'll be 16 in June. Let's put it that way.
Motherfucker, dude. Yeah. I've known you since before Masochist. That was one of the bands that I ended up actually like following you and paying attention. Great band, by the way. I missed
that band. Yeah,
I missed that band too. I'm not knocking anything that you're doing with Our Own Destruction because that's a great band as well. But it was you had Sean, Jesse, Tim, Brandon, and you. You guys all had that chemistry and back in the early like 2000s, dude. You guys were fucking killing it. So, what's going on, dude? Haven't talked to you in a while. Like, what's going on with you? How are you doing during COVID? You working?
Well, I was actually working at the Children's Hospital up until April, and then I got laid off from the hospital. So I've been doing like random acting gigs, random side gigs for jobs. You know, just trying to survive and go from there. I was at the hospital for 2 years, so just kind of like, oh, I had this job and now it's gone. So
yeah, that's
but just keeping safe. You know, my daughter's safe. You know, the rest of my family's safe, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, that absolutely is. I've had a couple scares myself, and as you know, working in the health industry, it's one of the bigger areas where you have like the chances of getting the whole disease and the virus and everything. And, I mention this every time somebody brings up the health department and health related. But as you know, Ashley, my girlfriend works at a nursing home, and she had to deal with it. And I am lucky enough to say that she has yet to catch it. I'm hoping that she doesn't end up catching it.
Knock on wood, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, how's COVID been affecting the band? I think I saw earlier in the late last year that Mike ended up leaving the band, and I actually just went over the page a little bit and saw that that was right. What happened there? Is like just happened. Mike just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a personal thing. Like, we don't have like bad blood. It wasn't one of those like, oh, he quit. There's drama with the band. Blah blah blah.
No, I get that.
It's just one of those things where as you stated, COVID happened and it affected everybody. We were very lucky to play a show like a week before everything shit the bed, and then we played a couple parties even during COVID. The last one that we played was at some apple orchard in back in September. It was crazy. But like
apple orchard.
Dude, it was an apple orchard. We played at this house and they had like this backyard set up, and we were the only heavy band there, period. Everybody was like acoustic, and I think there was like a hip hop act there or something, and we were the last band to go on. I mean, half our songs were covers anyway, so we just kind of like milked that and had fun with it. I don't know. I mean, just one of those things. If you have an opportunity to play, even though it was kind of a weird situation, in COVID, you just take it. So
yeah, you take whatever you can get. I know a couple people have been putting on shows, trying to do the whole like distance, safe distance away from each other, 6 feet and whatnot.
It's hard.
Yeah, I can. I was talking to Eric Freeman from She Walks Without Legs, and he said that they had played a show. I forgot where he said. He said it was sold out in front of 20 people.
Yep. Sounds about right.
I was like, holy shit, man, is this really what we have to look forward to in the music industry? I seriously hope not. So what's going on with the band, bro? What's besides Mike, and are you guys still practicing?
Yeah. Well, we got like a bit of a hiatus. We kind of figure with Mike leaving, and to be perfectly honest with you, he's the one that had the PA. So we had to order a PA. We had to wait for that to come in, which that came in. It's all set up and whatnot. But then we thought, like, around Thanksgiving, like, you know what? We've been doing this for, God, I joined the band in 2009. I'm like the OG member, like, and I've been nonstop with it since. We all have personal stuff we got to deal with. So we thought, you know what? Instead of beating this to the ground and then we all become bitter and angry and resentful, let's chill, get back to it, because we have a lot of good songs that are not in the album that we want to record, release, do all that stuff, but we want to do it under the right circumstances. We're looking into trying out a second guitar player, but because we've been on the hiatus, we haven't been like, oh, did you talk to so and so yet? This happened or that happened. It's more like we've been doing it on our own, and we all have recording equipment at home now too, so that makes like the writing aspect a little bit easier with COVID. They would send ideas through like Guitar Pro or whatever, and there you go. It's a way different way of writing music and recording now. So we've been doing stuff like that too.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it would be like back in the 80s if something like this happened.
Right.
You don't have
will be essential.
You don't have the equipment back in the days. Nowadays, you got people that live in all different countries and they're recording an album, and it's just insanity. So luckily for you guys have that ability to be able to record, talk to each other. You guys don't live absolutely that far away from each other. I totally understand. You still live in the same state. It's not like you guys live in different sides of the country. So, I mean, there's people that I talk to that, there's a band that I've been talking to where they're from California and their bassist is from fucking Canada. And
no shit. Okay.
Yeah. Well, so they can't
totally different.
They can't fucking do shit because of the fact that, the pandemic, Canada has everything fucking locked off. And then they have another member in their band that's from Oregon who can only get down there, once a month to practice. And so it becomes a thing, it's hard. So this whole thing is like, I can only imagine, like, I stopped playing in bands after Bound by Betrayal. And it's not for the fact that I've lost the love for music, because if I lost love for music, I wouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, totally.
And totally. I absolutely 100% love music. There's other ventures that I'd like to go down. And all actuality, Pat and Dustin and myself, we were actually jamming a little bit before COVID happened.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So there was that, and everything's happening now. Pat's getting ready to be a dad. He's got engaged.
Yeah.
So
I told him settling down, man. That's cool.
I told Pat, I was like, yeah, expect all those guitars to be going bye-bye now. He's like, no.
Oh yeah. Oh no, he's gonna have to get his kid involved. Like, hey, we can make guitars together. This could be our thing, so I can keep my babies.
Yeah.
Be our thing. Yeah.
So you said you're being safe. How is your family? Your mom, your dad?
Good.
You said your daughter's good. That's good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. And as far as the whole band being on a hiatus, sometimes that's, sometimes you get to that point and you have to go on, especially with the unsigned bands.
Yeah.
People don't understand the factor that goes into being a member of a band. You've got people that you've got a relationship with 5 different people, or 5, 4, 3, whatever, different people, and it's literally like you have that many girlfriends.
Yep. Yeah, it's a marriage. As cliche as it sounds, it really is a marriage. When you know these people for so long, you have to like every part of them. Something could annoy you about them, and you just got to deal with it. But that's just part of it, man. Like, we all get along pretty well. As far as bands go, we get along really well.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm kind of a hothead, and I have a temper, and if things don't go, I'm kind of a whiny baby, or whatever you want to call it. I don't get my fucking way. It's like, all right, I'm gonna give you the silent fucking treatment, dickhead. You didn't like that riff that I wrote? Fuck you. I'm gonna write it again.
I'm gonna write even harder now.
Yeah, fuck you, and you're gonna use it in the next fucking song, asshole.
I'm sneaking it somewhere. It's happening.
Yeah. So I definitely understand where a hiatus is needed. I took like a fucking 8-year hiatus at one point.
I remember that, actually, and you just kind of like, what, I'm back doing the band thing as a vocalist. I'm like, really? That's awesome. And then I went, was it the Bleachers show?
Yep. That was our very first show. It was at Bleachers. I will tell you right now that a vocalist does not have an easy job. As easy a job as everybody seems to think.
Yeah, we just have it so easy. Oh yeah. But
a lot of people seem to a lot of people seem to think that the vocalist is like the laziest person in the band, and that's because they have probably the smallest instrument out of everybody. You have the microphone, and sometimes you don't even have to bring a microphone, which if you're a vocalist and you don't bring your own fucking microphone, you're an idiot. Like I used other people's microphones for like 3 shows, and I was like, fuck this. I see spit going into it, and I was like, no, I'm all set. I'm gonna use I went out and bought myself my own mic, and that didn't use somebody else's microphone ever again.
Well, I finally bit the bullet, and of course this is like a month before COVID, but I ended up getting a wireless a month before COVID. So I got to use it like a handful of times, and I'm so happy I got one, because I had a wireless way back in the day. I got used to it. That broke. Went back to the wired mic, and it got very weird. So I literally just got used to using a wired mic like a year ago, and then I'm like, I got to get my wireless again, because I'm like, it's like I snorted pixie sticks on stage or something. I'm always running around. I'm always, if there's not enough slack with the mic, I'm like a dog on a fucking leash. I'll fall over. So
yeah, right.
And I have one, and then of course with COVID, playing those party shows, I'm the type that gets into people's faces, and you know how it is when you're on stage. You get stage brain. You don't think. And
nope, everything just fucking happens. Yeah, everything just fucking happens.
I got this guy with his phone like this in my face, and then I'm like, oh, that's an opportunity to get like right in his shit, right? So I go like kneel down, like, yeah, and he just backs right up, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm like, oh, that's right. We're in a pandemic. Yeah, totally. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite moments with you was you guys were playing, was it Machine Head?
Yeah, we played Machine Head. Yeah. You
guys were playing the Underground. I think it was with Serious Fades. And I like took my phone out and I like started videotaping you guys, and then the fucking like security guard, some like little security guard person, was like trying to knock my fucking phone out of my hand, and I was like, I'm like, fuck you, bitch, fuck you, and then like it kept happening, and you looked over and you're like singing, and then you like pull the microphone away, and you're like, it's okay.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, that was the Machine Head show. That's right.
So, you played the Apple Orchard, which
yep,
I don't get that one. I've seen people playing VFWs outside. The winter has been pretty much a hectic, like keeping people from actually playing shows.
Yeah.
They're saying that there's going to be concerts by the summertime, or hopefully by the end of summertime.
Too. Yeah, that's what I heard.
So, what are you guys like looking forward to? Are you guys, as soon as they start opening, are you guys going to go back out and start doing this again, or are you going to wait it out a little bit? And
we haven't really got into that part. At this point, it's all right. We got to make our schedules work to practice. We got the new PA. Whether or not we're even going to get a second guitar player, whether or not we're just going to stay a 4-piece. So that's kind of like the first thing that we're going to do when we get back. As far as like playing shows, I'm not sure. Like, all right, are we going to be like gung ho the second they say, okay, the bar's open, or are we still going to be kind of rusty and might need some time, to kind of get it back together? But not to answer for the band, but I honestly think we're going to be so antsy that once bars and clubs start opening again, we're going to say, fuck it. We're just going to play it because it's been forever.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of music going on as soon as everything starts opening up.
I have a feeling it's going to be it's going to be very successful too. I think as soon as people, catch wind that we don't need to wear masks anymore, or it's full capacity or whatever, and they can actually get out again, especially if it starts in the beginning of the summer, I think every show, every band plays is going to be sold out for a good year after that, because people are going to be so like, we need to get out, we need to be normal again. As soon as they have that opportunity, they're going to fucking take it, especially in the summer.
Well, I don't, not to like try and change the subject into a COVID conversation, but I don't think that the mask thing is going away anytime soon.
Oh, God,
I think,
no. Oh, no.
I think we'll have concerts, sports, and things like that by the end of summer. But I don't see us not having to wear masks for like at least another year, probably.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll get enough people that are just like, fuck this. I'm done wearing this fucking shit. And they're talking about telling us that we have to double up on masks.
Yeah,
now.
but we got to double bag it. Like, what happens when they tell us to double bag with condoms back in the day? It broke, didn't work.
Yeah, so I'm sticking with my single like gator.
Yeah.
I don't wear the whole the surgical mask thing,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really go anywhere. I go to work, go to the grocery store, go home. Maybe once in a while I'll go out to eat with Ashley. That's it.
Yeah, I think I've gone out to eat with my parents on their birthday. We go to like a Chili's or an Applebee's or something, and I'm still kind of like, oh wait, we take our masks off when we sit down. It's still weird to me because I don't really go out or do much either, other than like hikes, walks, and if I do like a job or something, that's just about it, really.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm on my dad's cell phone plan, and he doesn't do the whole like Venmo or PayPal thing, so I can't just send him the money electrically or through the bank or whatever. So he wants the cash in his hand. So my dad lives in Agawam. I live in Ellington, and every month I have to go to the bank, drive up to Agawam. So the first time it happened, I was like, I don't feel comfortable coming up there. My dad had cancer. My stepmom had cancer as well. And I don't know anything about this fucking virus.
Yeah. No, it's nerve wracking, especially when you have parents like that. It's like, fuck, I don't want to go up there, and risk them.
And the thing that sucked the most was the fact that they both work in the health industry. My dad's a maintenance person at a nursing home, and my stepmom's she's the person that works at the front desk. I'm not sure what they're called, but I'm not going to say greeter because that sounds like I guess she would be the greeter, the secretary or person at the front desk. But
do people go there to for like admission, things like that? Like, is she
I don't know. It's something like that.
Because I kind of did that when I first started at the hospital. I worked at front desk security, and when you were to walk in and I'm here to visit so-and-so, or my kid has an appointment with cardiology or whatever, I had to basically interrogate the shit out of you before I let you in.
Yeah, that's
take your ID and make sure you pass all the security protocols. And nope, it says here that you're specifically not supposed to be here. Bye. Like, that's That was my
Right.
job. So it's probably the same thing with her. Yeah.
Yeah, she probably does do something like that. I don't think that she gets too many guests now. So
No, that's why I don't have a job.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just it was nerve wracking. I didn't want to go see my parents, you know.
Yeah.
And then, I'd go up there every once a month. I'd walk into the house with the mask on and everything. And, I wouldn't stay that long. And I know people who went, it's the first time they've seen their parents in over a year. I saw one of my friends on Twitter say that they haven't seen their parents in 59 weeks.
Jesus.
And I mean, they live in New York City too. So,
oh, yeah.
That's fucking nerve wracking too, especially with that being the, uh, everything that happened in New York City, right when the whole pandemic and the global whatever ended up booming, all them trucks with the dead bodies and shit.
Oh yeah, it's we sort of had that between well, not so much at the Children's Hospital, but Harvard Hospital right there.
Yeah,
we would see a lot of that shit coming from there, and like that first week or two, like it was nuts because like things changed literally within 24 hours.
Yep.
Like the job I ended up having, I would take messages for doctors after hours with patients. Mom or dad would call and say, my kid's sick, they're a patient of Dr. So-and-so's, could you page them? So we have our infectious disease doctor. So it's March 12th, and this is important, March 12th. So I'm like, so doctor, we've been hearing about this on the news, I'm bullshitting with him. What do you think about it? He's like, it's media hype, it's serious, but it's not a big deal, right? The next day I come in, March 13th, there's people in hazmat suits stopping us from going into the building, taking our temperatures, and that's a normal thing now. But back then, it's like, who the fuck are you, and why are you sticking a thing in my face, like me and other employees? And then everyone's running around like chickens with their head cut off. I talked to that same doctor who said, forget everything I said yesterday. He's like, this is no joke. And like 2 or 3 weeks later, they laid off half the hospital.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. It's so crazy how this one thing that happened in another country ended up affecting the entire fucking world.
Yep.
Like everything stopped. Music stopped. Baseball stopped. And baseball and me, sports stopped.
That's your thing. I mean, it's still cool that they kept it going to a certain extent. Like they have the cardboard fans and it's not the same by any means, and it's still kind of depressing to watch. But I mean, it's something. I think the weirdest thing to watch, not that I'm a big modern day wrestling fan anyway, but watching an empty arena when people are wrestling is so weird.
Dude, so me, I watch wrestling as well.
Yep.
And I watch it, Ashley and I watch every Monday. We watch it every Wednesday, every Friday as well. And we watch every pay-per-view. Now, the way they have it is they have like screens, like television screens or whatever for like fans to come in so that they can watch the wrestling match live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they call it. Okay. Yeah, so that's for WWE. Now with AEW, they have they actually can have fans in the stands.
Oh, could they? Okay.
Well, they're in Florida, so Florida's open.
Gotcha. Yeah, they don't really give a shit down there, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, they actually have real fans. I know a few people that have gone to an AEW. So anything? So you guys have a whole or full album worth of music. We completely got off subject. We went.
Oh no, it's totally fine. Yeah, so, we had. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You guys have you guys have basically a full length worth of music. You have your new guitarist. I'm going to say new guitarist, Nick, who's now the only guitarist because Mike ended up leaving. Good luck to Mike in his future endeavors.
Absolutely.
You and Tim have been working with each other for a long time. So I know the story. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how it came to be that you got Tim to join the band?
Oh boy. Well, I knew Tim since probably 2001, 2002 when he was in Damage Tone. I was in a band called Strain Existence back in the day, and we played shows with Damage Tone all the time. and got to know Tim. And so we were in a band. We ended up being in a band together called Masochist from 2005 to 2007. We worked really well together, and I think to this day that was like, I mean, Our Own Destruction is successful, but I think Masochist was like a little more successful. But also, we were in our early 20s, so that kind of makes a huge difference. Different ways
Yeah,
of promoting, and that's a whole
I
other story. But anyway,
I actually just saw your 21st birthday
oh
drunk picture
Jesus,
where you're
oh
like,
my God, dude, I'll never forget that as long as I live. Like that was like the 21st birthday to have, because I knew the bartenders at the Webster. They gave me 21 Jack and Cokes and like a shot glass, like a little bit like a double shot glass.
was it
And
Brooke?
I think Brooke was there, and then what was her name? Sarah. She had like the undercut back in the day, blondish
Mm,
curly hair. She was security guard. Is that her name, Sarah? Anyway, but she was working the bar that night too. And my plan was, because we had to be there at load in for 3 o'clock, we weren't supposed to go on till like 9, I think. And so I
okay,
was like, okay, I'll drink from like 3 to 6. I'll sober up. That didn't work out that way, because all of a
right.
sudden everyone knew it was my 21st birthday, and they're giving me shots, giving me this. So then at like 8 o'clock, I'm like plastered. No, it was like 7. Sean walks up to me. How you doing, buddy? I'm like, so you ready to play? No. Well, this is the band's last song, and I'm like, yeah, good for them, thinking we had another couple hours. She's like, nope, we're going on next. We did this on purpose because we knew you would get shit faced, and so I'm like, so you saw the picture? I'm like, this the whole time, and I think I yelled about being the Lizard King on stage, like I was Jim Morrison or some shit. Like it was brutal, but and then now, oh Jesus Christ, here's the picture. Yep, that's
I'm
it.
trying. Hold on. I'm
Yep,
trying to show it to everybody here. Here, here. I'll take us out real quick.
fun day.
Yeah, that
Um,
looks like you were having a lot of fun.
yep, we had a bottle of Jameson on stage too, and we got yelled at
I can
for
imagine
having
you
it.
getting yelled at.
Yeah, we I forgot who snuck it on stage, and then Brandon, our drummer, he was the only one that wasn't 21 yet. He was like a month younger than me or something, so he was the only one that couldn't like party with us, and like the whole band's in like the bar part of the Webster Underground, and he's kind of in the other part.
So back
Uh,
to Tim.
yeah, oh yeah, Tim. So we started
Oh
talking
yeah,
about my
Tim.
21st birthday. Oh yeah, Tim. Oh yeah. But we ended up being a Masochist together. That band broke up. We went our separate ways with other stuff, and I got into Our Own Destruction with the original lineup, where we had a guitar player, Chris. We had a drummer named Nick, and it was just the three of us. And for a year long, I kept saying, I don't remember Tim's number. Nobody has Tim's number. He works at IHOP, or not IHOP, at Ruby Tuesday in Southington, and I wonder if he still works there. So for like a year straight, there's just the three of us, and I'm talking about this mysterious Tim, right?
Right.
So one day I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go down to like Southington, Plainville. I was living in Ellington, I think, at the time, and I waited. I saw his yellow car, and he has a yellow Tiburon, and you can spot that shit from the road. I'm like, I'm pulling in there, so it's like a Friday night at like 7. So I knew he was gonna be busy. I walk in, the waitress is like, no, he's busy right now. So I stay by his car till like I think midnight. I just sit in my car next to his car,
5
waiting for
fucking
him to come
hours.
out. Yeah, yeah. And so
Jesus
I had
Christ.
like a demo to give him from what we were doing at the time. So Tim walks out. It's the funniest shit ever. Nobody's around. Just my car next to his car. Then like on the other side of the lot, I guess like the waitresses or whatever. He walks out and I go, Tim. He jumps like 30 feet. Oh, who's who the hell is that? Who the hell is that? And got like all nervous. I'm like, oh, it's Mike. It's Mike. He's like, oh, hey. And then, like he comes walking over to me, and I told him, I'm in a new band. I've been hyping him up for like a year. Here's a demo, and it had 6 songs on it, songs that we haven't even played once like Mike got into the band and we turned into a whole new thing. Um, but Tim joined that way. Then I found Mike on Craigslist like that same week, and then their tryouts were like a week uh, difference from each other, and that's how that got to be like Tim jammed. He was the only bass player that came in that just ripped through everything like it was nothing, just memory. yeah, guys, I listened to the demo and Chris, our guitar player, he didn't know him. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna sit down with you and show you. He's like, oh, you mean this? And he started playing the part. Oh, yeah, that, like I'm like, and so it's like I turned to Chris and Nick, I'm like, I told you. Like that's just him. He's an amazing bass player and he's been doing
Yeah,
great
he
ever since.
definitely he definitely is a good musician, bassist, and whatnot. One of my fondest memories of Tim is I forgot where it was. I want to.
So
It
many
had,
memories.
huh?
I said so many memories with him. So
I
many.
have, yeah, and he was doing the thing that Steve Buscemi did in Airheads. He was doing the thrusting, with his bass, and his fucking junk was like right in my face, and I didn't notice it at first. And then all of a sudden, I turn around and I got this fucking dude's dick, like his crotch, like right in my face, and I'm like, "Dad, what the fuck?" And he's just sitting
Also,
there like humping air, and I'm like, "All right, I walk to the other side of the stage, and the fucking guy follows me." I was just like, it was the Webster Underground. That's where it
oh,
was.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
I
he's done that to me 2 times, 2 different shows
I
too.
believe it. I believe
He,
it. He has
he
no idea what he's doing too. He probably
nope,
didn't even realize that he was doing that,
nope, no, because I remember afterwards I ended up saying something to him. He was like, "Oh, sorry."
I didn't mean to
So
do that.
yeah, him. I've never really had like a full on conversation with Tim, like
Oh, really?
like you. I've never actually had a full on conversation with any of the guys that are in the band outside of you. So
Oh, yeah. Huh. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, didn't I don't think you really know those guys all
I
that
know
well.
Nick a little. I did talk to Mike a couple of times. Kurt is your drummer, correct?
Yeah.
I think him and I have maybe like had a brief conversation, but nothing. I mean, they all seem kind of like, well, we're gonna sit over here, and they don't
Yeah.
seem. They're not nothing against them, and I'm not knocking them, but they don't seem like they're personable,
Oh no, it's funny because Kurt has that look to him if you don't know him, but he's like the most outgoing dude and like funny as shit. Like it's just if you don't know him and he's focused at the show, he's gonna look like he doesn't want you near him. But
He's
the
like, yeah, that's
but
probably what it is.
but the reality is he's like the most chill, like laid back guy ever. I've worked with Kurt since right after Masochist. I was in that band Eyes of Wrath. He was the bass player of Eyes of Wrath, Kurt. And no joke, he decided one day, I'm gonna buy a drum set.
I'm gonna buy
I
it. I
think,
remember you telling me this
yeah,
story.
he's like, I think I can play better than our current drummer. And no joke, I don't know what he did, like if he just had like a crash course in drums and just practice, practice, practice. But he came to practice one day, and was just like, I think he played like the whole set or something on drums, like better than the drummer did. And and this was like the year where I wasn't in the band. I was actually with the original Our Own Destruction because we kind of went back and forth. And so when I wasn't in the band Eyes of Wrath, and Kurt wasn't on bass anymore, that's pretty much what happened from the stories I've heard from them. He just kind of, I'm playing drums. I think I can do it better. Well, what do you guys think? Can I do it better? And the band was like, oh, yeah, actually. And he just developed from there and just got so good. But he's also a guitar player. That's where he came from.
So he's a
So like,
musician.
yeah. So like when it comes to writing, to have a drummer be like, no, I think you're trying to do this rhythm with the guitar, or you're trying to play it like this. He'll get up and grab the guitar and be like, do you mean this? Yeah, that. So it makes it easier to write music. There's not that ego of I don't know what this person's doing, so I'm not going to pay attention. It's more of like, no, I know what you're doing and I'm paying attention. And you know what? Give me that guitar quick. I'm going to show you something. Like that's Kurt. And
Right, right.
he's very much on the technical aspect too. Like when it comes to uh, sending Guitar Pro files or whatever to the band. Like I have this click track or whatever with these MIDI drums for something I'm doing. What do you guys think of it? And Nick would put a guitar part over it, or Mike at the time would put a guitar part over it, and I would jam to it vocally at home. So I'm going on a tangent about this now, but like actually, he's actually the brains, I would say, behind like keeping us organized and like keeping us focused.
He's
Like,
the
'cause
dad.
yeah, because we would go on tangents at practice. You remember that fucking show with that fucking guy? Or hey, did you see that movie the other
Every
day? And then,
band has a
you know,
dad.
and then Kurt's like, guys, we gotta,
Yep.
do this shit. Come on. Oh, okay. Let's go. So are we gonna play the next song or are we not? Like,
We
it's one of those things.
when Bound by Betrayal was a thing, the youngest member in the band was the dad.
Oh, really?
Dustin. Yeah, Dustin was the
I can
dad. He
totally see Dustin being the one. He's the father, the family man. Like, all right, guys, we
yeah,
gotta be organized. We gotta be Oh, Tanner. Yeah, I forgot Tanner.
Tanner was one of the kids though. he was
I
like
believe that.
and then Pat's just like wow, wow, wow. And then Adam's just like he's like, all right, assholes, let's start playing. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep, that's just how it goes.
yeah, everybody has a dad in the band. I remember, I was the dad of Kill Your Demons, and actually, so just real quick because I know you got to get going soon. Tell us how Kurt ended up joining the band.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your album, when it came out, where it's available. So start off with Kurt.
Sure. Well, as you know, Kurt was in the band Eyes of Wrath with me, and I was in that band for I don't even know if he ever saw us with or saw us with them. But anyway,
Was that the
we
band with Rich?
no, that was Buried by Faith. That was the one that played with Korn. That was God, best day of my life. But
Funny story on that. I believe that was the
uh
band that I actually tried out for the
yes, it
first
was.
time.
Yes, it was because I remember them asking me about you when I tried out. Oh, do you know Brad Chandler? Oh, yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Oh, he tried out like a week ago. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a song that Adam Costa did, the vocals to, and
Hmm.
they wanted me to come in and do an As I Lay Dying cover song, and I was like, no, I want to do the
Yep.
original. And they were completely shocked at the fact that I wanted to do the original. And
Hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I'm a great vocalist, because at that time, uh, even now, I'm still not a great vocalist, but at that time, I was just, getting into the whole music scene, really, like I'd
Yeah.
only been in two bands and I was only in them for like a year and a half
Hmm.
altogether. So, and then get in front of these people I didn't know, I wasn't even comfortable, and then I'm singing their original song. I thought I did a good job. Obviously,
Yeah.
I didn't do that great of a job because you ended up joining.
Well, they were complimenting you actually. They're like, oh, that dude's got a sick scream or whatever. They weren't saying like anything bad about you at all. I think
I
they
no,
wanted.
I wasn't saying anything about the fact that like anything bad. I just, like my vocal, because I can't sing. I don't sing. I scream. I growl. I do all
I
that
can't
stuff.
sing either. I can't either. But it's just one of those things. I just like doing it, and
Right. So off subject again. Let's go back over to
Oh
Kurt.
yeah, Kurt. Well, we were in the band Eyes of Wrath together. And then Our Own Destruction came in, and then after a year, the original Our Own Destruction broke up. Eyes of Wrath formed up again. I got back with them, and Kurt and I honestly spent a lot of the time saying that we wish we could do stuff like Our Own Destruction. Basically, we didn't really like what we were doing, and that fell apart with that band. And then I got in contact with Mike again, and then we had a different drummer, this guy Steve, who was helping us out. And I wanted to work with Kurt again because he's great, like one of the best people I've ever worked with. Period. So I'm like, I got to work with him again to a certain capacity. So we're like, I call him. We're like, do you want to be our bass player? Like, I don't want to like do that to him. Like, go from drums to being a bass player. And he's like, I don't really want to play bass. And I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. Kind of left it at that. But then Steve, he's got a family, and I think he had a kid that was on the way. So he's like, yeah, I don't really have time, and it just kind of worked out. And I'm like, so I got Kurt in the band, and like I like insisted. I'm like, no, he's trying out for us. I wouldn't take no for an answer. So
Right.
Kurt did. He put his own little spin on because we had like a 2-song demo out with the original lineup. He put his own spin
Right.
on those 2 songs, and we really liked what he did. And the rest is history. Everybody got along with him, and we had like a band party one day after practice. And we all got to get shitty and get to know each other in that way. Get to know Kurt in that way. The rest of the bands, I already knew everybody, obviously. they had to get to know him. It's just been working out. Like,
Yeah.
I think he joined in 2012. I can count on one hand the amount of times the band argued, and it's
That's
mostly me. It's mostly me and Mike. I'll just be totally honest. That like we were the only two that butted heads. Everyone else, and we didn't even butt heads that bad. Like, I mean, compared to some of the other bands that have been in, oh my god, this is like playing with fucking, I don't know, like Bill and Ted or something. Just chill, laid back, and I don't know how to explain it.
it's
You know, so
all friendly people in the confines of
yeah,
one room, you know, and
definitely.
the more the more you can do that, the better off. And that right there just shows like uh, in the future, if you guys were to say go hit the road or something like that, there's
Hmm.
not going to be like a broken window in the van because someone
Right,
got pissed off, you know.
right,
And
and we know our buttons. We know like our boundaries with each other without telling us at this point, or
being
without saying,
respectful and
yeah,
whatnot
it's just kind of
for
like
each
we kind
other.
of know like if someone's in a pissy mood or if someone we know not to say or do certain things. It's just like living with a sibling. You kind of know when like, all right, today might not be the day, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's the
So
opposite of what I do. If I know your buttons, I'm fucking pushing that shit. I'm
well,
slamming my fucking fist on that thing. Oh, that's a
yeah.
nuclear bomb. Beep, beep,
Oh
beep.
yeah. It's just one of those things where we can get along pretty well, and we always have it. And we did used to joke like, if we ever went on tour, I'm getting my own bus, but like we never argued to where it would even, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's silly to think about how long we've been together as a band, and like we don't bicker really. Like if we do, it lasts so short. Um, and if there is a bicker at band practice, it's more of a passionate one in the sense of we're excited about a part and we're arguing over whether who's got the better idea. Oh, I want to add this layer. I want to add that layer to it. So it's more like amping each other up. Like, I like what you're doing there, but it could be better if we try this. Actually, I like what you're doing, but I can add that. As cliche as it sounds, it's building a house. It's structure, structure, structure. And
Yeah,
then as far as the album goes, Jesus, I think we started drum tracking at the end of 2013, like
wow.
December 2013. I think January 2014 were the drum tracks. And then that was when a few months later when Kurt broke his foot and we couldn't play shows for like 8 or 9 months or something like that. And
He should
so
have been the bassist.
right at that point, but he had screws in his foot and now he's back to playing drums. So I mean, he can fucking do it. But then we had some recording issues with the files or whatever, so we couldn't record the rest of it until the summer. So we got like the basic bass lines, the basic rhythm guitars. I did 2 songs vocally on 4th of July 2014. Just put it that way. We didn't get the album out until April 2018, just to paint you a picture. Yeah.
That is a long fucking time,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Typically, bands have at least another 1 to 2 albums out by then, if
No
not like
shit.
another couple demos.
And that's why
Holy
we have so many
shit.
songs now, like that are not on the album, because we still continued writing, and because there are a couple songs that we have, especially one that people like know at our shows, like sing along to it, that's not on the album, that has been around
That's
like you
crazy.
know pretty much that long. And we would have put that song on the album if the drum tracks weren't already recorded by the time that we finished. So that's how old it is, and a lot of the songs on the album were written 2009, 2010. I think the newest songs are The Madman Is Near and Eternal Damnation, which were written in 2012. So, I mean, some of those songs I wrote at 24, 25 years old lyrically.
Jesus.
I'll be 36 this year, and some of them I cringe. I cringe because I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, where's the razor blades? You know what I'm saying? Like, so depressing, like, just because it was during that time when I wrote it.
Yeah.
But like the album, it did well for being a local band, I guess. We have it on Spotify, we have it on all the
The major
Amazon,
platforms.
all the
Yeah.
major platforms, which has been great. And we still have physical CDs, which by the time that we got them, no one bought CDs anymore.
Yeah, everything's MP3, Spotify, Apple.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
people.
I think we still sold out of them, but still, yeah, it took like a year and a half for that to happen.
I bought it off of Google. I think I ended up buying at least one physical copy.
I think you did. Thank you, by the way.
I wasn't looking for a thank you, but you're welcome.
Yes.
I ended up, one of the guys that I work with, he heard me listening to it. He was like, "Hey, can I borrow that?" I was like, "Yeah, you can have it."
Awesome.
So I gave it to this kid at work, and every once in a while, like, he'll put it on, and then I'll be like, "Oh, Our Own Destruction, huh?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't even know the name of the band." I was like, "Nah, that's my boys." Awesome. I know Mike, the vocalist, and I've known him for years. So, Mike, it's been, this is the reason why when we were talking, I told you, like an hour, because look at how far we've gone. We're like 47 minutes in. I know you have to get going. And I appreciate you coming on, Mike. Thank you so much. We'll have to do this again once the band is up and doing things. And to everybody else out there, please go check out Our Own Destruction. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Spotify. You can find them on Apple. You can find them on Google, yada, 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 all those platforms. So, Mike, thank you. Just hold on one second. Don't go anywhere, okay?
All right. Thanks, man. Really appreciate you having me.